Yo, and welcome to our awesome webinar with myself, Sean McGarty.
And Jason Kane. So how's things, guys?
Listen, over the next 45 to maybe 50 minutes, we're going to be showing you the exact formula that we've been using ourselves and other trainers to help them go from exhausted, living week to week, some of them, to successful business owners with financial freedom. So listen, before we delve into the content, I want to just cover off a few things that are really important so that you get the most out of this thing. One is make sure that you have a pen and a piece of paper because we're going to give you a shit ton of writer-downers, right? The next thing is make sure you don't have any distractions. So make sure you're somewhere that you can hear us perfectly. You're not going to be distracted, and even turn off phones and stuff like that there, because the formula we're going to give you is going to need your complete attention so that you get the most out of this thing, all right? So before we get started, listen, if you've struggled in the past, I want to tell you, listen, it is not your fault. I mean, my newsfeed is filled with tons of pop-up gurus selling all sorts of magic, clickbait, special formulas, funnels, you know, it's just bullshit. And I want to tell you that, like, we are not one of those dudes, and this is not going to be one of those webinars. There is serious work to be done here, especially if what you're trying to do is to actually build a real business, because businesses are built on the foundations, and real stable foundations, including systems. And we're going to delve right into those. So this is going to be completely different to anything that you've maybe seen before. Now, I also want to put some of your fears at rest. The biggest thing about this webinar is different from all the rest of the ones that you may have been on, because this may not be your first gig, right? There is nothing for us to sell you here. So there's going to be no big pitch at the end. There's not going to be any pitch fest or any of that stuff, all right? So we're going to give you a ton of content. Now, there will be an opportunity for some people who want to start up a conversation with myself and Jay, but there's not going to be any big pitch. And then the other thing is, like, sometimes what has actually held a lot of us guys back is the fact that you have to get a little bit uncomfortable for things to, or for your business to grow. And to stand up and ask for help sometimes can seem like a bit of a failure. And that can be one of the biggest things that holds trainers back. They're simply afraid to ask for the help, and then they stay overwhelmed and stuck and in their comfort zone. And then if you've ever thought that there's a difference between popular and profitable, you're 100% right. Now, I know that, you know, Guru Bob or social influencer, whatever his name is on Facebook, is telling you that instant authority and positioning is the key to success, but they have reasons to make you believe that that's what you need in your business. And listen, if you've ever thought that there is a different conversation you need to be having if you want to add zeros to your bank account, like bacon to your sandwich, you're right. Having a conversation about how to make a profitable business, you're talking about businesses with systems that are predictable, repeatable, and profitable. That's the conversation we're going to have here today. Not like how to get more likes and shares or Instagram followers in your account, which, you know, to my last reckoning, my kids can't eat likes and shares, and there is no way that you can change them for actual currency. So we're going to be talking about how to make profitable business with foundational systems that are predictable, repeatable, and profitable today. And then the thing is, listen, if I've made this all sound kind of daunting, don't worry about it, because over the next, like I say, 45 to 50 minutes, we're going to lay down the exact principles and show you the systems that you're going to need so that you can do this stuff too. Now, here's the goal that we have for this web class. I want to show you how we've helped struggling fitness professionals, sometimes living week to week, how to gain real financial freedom and turn their actual business into a real systemized, predictable, repeatable, profitable business that gives them the financial freedom that they want. And I'm going to show you that the fastest way to financial freedom is to model the success of people who are where you want to be. And the fastest way to do that, exactly like the guys inside of our inner circle in Ascension, is exactly like in fitness too, is to hire a coach with a proven track record. Now, let me just introduce us two guys. So we're the dudes behind the camera. Jay, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
So guys, listen, I suppose my name is Jason Kane, and again, myself and Sean have been working together. How long now, Sean?
Shit, since 2011.
So my foray into the fitness industry started off in structural engineering. I was always involved in fitness as a kind of hobby, as a pastime, martial arts, boxing, that type of thing. Very similar to Sean. Recession hit, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, listen, the fitness or the construction industry's falling apart. So can I actually move forward and do something with my life that's going to give me the money that I need to support myself, my family, and it's also something that I'm passionate about? And you're kind of in a similar situation, weren't you, Sean?
Exactly. I was doing something completely different. I was in the business of selling cars and franchising. And I always had a love for fitness. And really the thing that was holding me back, which could be like what held some of you back in the beginning, I didn't actually think it was a real career. It was a hobby, and I didn't actually understand how to turn that hobby into a profession. But really what I realized was that fitness was exactly the same as any other business. And we're going to show you that stuff here. And really for the guys that are watching this, you're probably going to fall into one of two categories here. Either you're a business beginner, or you're beginning to build a business, and you want to move from like working in a gym for someone else to become your own boss. Or maybe you're already doing that. Maybe you've already started looking at taking on a premises of your own. Or maybe you actually have a premise of your own, but you want to take that business to a whole another level. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this webinar. Now, myself and Jay, over the last 8-9 years, have turned our hobbies into a profession that's grown into, well, a massive fitness business, and we own companies. In fact, we own 4 fitness businesses. So the thing is, this isn't some fluke. If we done one fitness business and made a lot of money out of it, you'd say, wow, well, that's a fluke. If you do 2, well, it's like, well, then maybe you have something. But to do this 4 times, and like on the board there, you can see Elite Academy Gyms. We have a Dublin headquarters, Galway, Belfast, and Cork is on the cards. We own Impact Strength and Performance Gym. We have an amazing 12 franchise, and we have a consultancy company that has many things in it. And the top level of that is Ascension. There is way over 7 figures on that page here. And this is what makes myself and Jason really unique when you're comparing the advice and the stuff that we're going to give you here, is that we actually still do what you do. We own gyms. We run gyms. We're in the fitness industry. And unlike many of these pop-up gurus who tell you, we make 7 figures, like we make 7 figures a year, every year. Not like over the last 10 years it amounts to 7 figures, which is very different. So like we're giving you actual, factual. You can look us up. We're a limited company, so we can't tell you, bullshit here. You can go and look this up. All right. And that's a very, very big difference between, I suppose, what we do right now and the kind of advice we give. It comes from a place of still doing what we're advising here. And that is very, very unique. So next thing is, it wasn't always like this. Back in the day, myself and Jay, if we wanted to earn more money, and this is probably a lot like you, the only way for us to earn more money was to work more hours. And I remember way back when I just got into this game, I thought I was doing really well. I got to the point where I was doing 44 sessions a week, and I was like, yes, I've cracked it. 44 sessions, and I mean, whatever you're charging, that's a lot of dough. But it was also a lot of dough and a lot of hours. And it gets to the point where if you're doing 44 sessions, there is no way you're going to be able to maintain that without burning out. And that's what I began to realize. I was beginning to realize that where I stood and where I wanted to be, this other place where the grass is greener, there was a chasm or a chasm or a void. Like, there was stuff I just did not know. Even with my background in the business and sales and marketing, fitness was different, and I wasn't able to achieve what I wanted the way I was doing it. It was kind of like I was drowning, and all anybody was doing was describing the water to me. And I didn't know of any way out. And it came to the point where myself and Jay, we were like, we both understood this, right? We haven't got all the answers. And that can be hard to take sometimes. Remember what we said, like, sometimes the hardest thing for us to get over is that we don't have all the answers. And some people aren't willing to put their hand up and say, hey, that's me, I need help. But we got to the point where we said, listen, if we want to have the freedom and an actual business where we don't trade time for money, which is kind of like a hooker when you think about it, if you want to actually gain financial freedom, you can't have your monetary value tied to time. So we started to seek out experts in the industry, and we started to learn from these guys. Now, we spent hundreds of thousands with the top guys we could possibly think of in every field. So we picked who's the best guy that we can think of who could teach us like the marketing skills that we need. We went with Russell Brunson, Boise, Idaho, spent 2 years working with Russell. We're like, who else does, like, who's got a marketing agency we can think of who's brilliant at the real complex end of it? Like, where's the complexity that we don't understand yet? Well, Ryan Dice must have that, so you can see him in the middle top. And then we were like, well, who's got the best gym? Who's the most profitable square foot on earth at the minute? It's like, will all cause growth. So let's go to results fitness. And then, well, what about internet marketing? Are we missing a trick here? Is there stuff that we don't understand about building companies and businesses? And we would thought, well, let's go and speak to Ryan Lee. And then what about training? Well, you've got Thomas Plummer. What about, you've got Garrett J. White, Wake Up Warrior, leading the biggest tribe on earth at the minute for men. And then you've got Jordan Belfort in terms of sales. And we went and we spent years learning from each and every one of these guys, mentoring with them all. And it took years to gain everything that we learned from them. And then to put it into practice and fine tune it for not only just what works in this soil, but what works in our market. So years of developing, like fine tuning, investing, and flying all over the goddamn world to get to here. And that's when we basically had an epiphany moment that, whoa, if we look at these guys and what they do, it all falls into one of three categories. And this is what turned into our business blueprint. What we realized was, as complex as business may sound, or you might think it is, it falls down into just doing three things really, really well. So the only three things you need to do in business is, one, figure out how to turn visitors to your content into leads. Now, what I mean by a lead though here is not somebody sending you a message on Facebook saying, how much is it? That's not a lead. A lead is when somebody sends you their name, their email, and their mobile, and they're saying, feel free to contact me. I want to hear more. I want to lean closer to you. I want to get involved with you. That's a lead. Now, your ability to turn those visitors into leads and then close them into cash is the sales. So you've got to have a sales system, like you've got to have a marketing system that turns visitors into leads. You've got to know how to close those leads to cash. And then F is the fulfillment. That's the fulfillment bucket. Now, in here, that's where you're only able to give someone the delivery of your service, your offering, or your experience. And you've got to have a system that'll not only give those people the results that they want up front, but actually provides an experience that makes them stay. Now, the fulfillment is normally where most personal trainers stop, and they think, I'm the best personal trainer ever, I'm great, and they do course after course after course, thinking to themselves, if I just get the right course, then everybody will figure it out and they'll want to come to me. And we've seen some of the best personal trainers, you could say best, right? Or most educated or done the most courses, go out of business because they can't actually get leads and convert them into sales and give enough people an experience and retain the clients in the business that gives them enough income to sustain. So you've got to have all three of these. Now, if you actually systemize each one of these three areas in your business, you will have complete control of the leads coming into your business. You can convert as many as you need into the actual sales to give you the income. And if you have a good fulfillment system, i.e. you get people results and they want to stick around for an experience and you're retaining clients in the business, it is kind of like being able to grow your business exponentially. You're in the complete driving seat of your business. You're a creator of your circumstance, not a victim of your circumstance. And you're in control of it every step of the way. And that is how you can use that business blueprint to get you one step closer to the understanding you need to have financial freedom in your business. Now, without this, you are going to feel swamped. You're going to feel like every second of your day, you're struggling to find where the next lead's coming from. You don't even know, can you close anyone? You're probably winging it when you talk to people, or your conversations are just so loose, they're going all over the place. And then at the end, people just say, I want to think about it. And when it comes to fulfillment, I mean, maybe you spend hours and hours building hundreds of thousands of programs and you're not really getting results or people are walking away. Without it, it's going to feel like you're swamped. And it was when we started having conversations about the business blueprint with some of the fitness professionals we know that they started to say, shit, you're describing the exact swamp I'm swimming in here. How the hell do I get out of this? Like, get me the hell out of here. And trainers started then reaching out to us saying, dude, can you help us? Like, you're talking about this marketing system. I don't have it. I hear you you've sold me on the sales system. How do I get it? And the fulfillment system, what way do you do this? Because I too was trading time for money and I've reached the cap potential in the business and I can't make any more money and I've run out of time and I'm still not earning what I need to run my lifestyle. So help. And that's when trainers started to come to us and we started to work with them. And over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, Jay, we started to help fitness professionals get the systems they need to have complete control of the income in their business and get closer to gaining that financial freedom. So then we started to do courses on sales and marketing. We started to host large events. This one we actually run out of space. You can see there's about 9 people sitting down the back on the floor. And it ended in us starting a group of Ascension over 2 years ago, where we took 25 fitness professionals and we worked with them exclusively to take their businesses beyond where they ever thought it could go. Now, I want to point out that all the individuals left to right here started with us, and over a year period, we took every single one of them beyond 6 figures within 12 months. Now, you see me on the right there in front of a Mac, and you've got Scott Furlong behind me. You've got Michael John Lennon, who runs Elite in Belfast and Hybrid. And then there's a guy there just with a green hoodie on with a bald head, right? That's Gan. That's Gan Power. Now, the funny thing about it is most people, and we said this earlier, most people struggle with the asking for help. Most people will leave it until they're down to their last cent before they're willing to ask for help. I don't know why this is, but I want to take this case in question, because here's the actual message. Jay, actually, you got this message. Talk us through what happened here.
Yeah, so basically, like, Gan had been going back and forward with myself and Sean over a period of time. And I knew Gan from a training background. You know, we had done the Amazing 12 together. We were friends. We knew each other through kettlebells. And it wasn't until he was, like, literally down rolling the dice. This was his last effort. You know, the business wasn't working out from the way things had been previously, all right? So things were going great, and then all of a sudden it just slowed down and stopped. And again, he was kind of knocking on the shoulder, tipping. Yeah, as you see here, he says, listen, struggling to get any leads. And really what I want to do is I want to reach out to you and Sean and ask you guys for some mentoring. We need your help. So the next thing was, listen, that's cool, Gan. And 12 months later, this is what happened.
But basically, Annie, I've been in this facility for the last about 2 or 3 years, and I was doing quite well. But the thing about it was, I was lacking. I was getting a lot of people coming through my door, but I had no system in place to actually keep them on as a continuity program. So I hit into January of last year, which is January 2017, and whatever happened with Facebook, it wasn't working for me. There was, I was banging out, putting money on ads. There was nothing happening. So I was getting no leads, and I was getting fairly desperate. The money was coming in, the bills still had to be paid, and the money wasn't there to pay the bills. I was trying everything. What worked for me the year before wasn't working anymore. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. All I could see was just kind of darkness. I thought my business was going down the tubes, and everything I worked for 3 or 4 years previous to that, I thought it was going to go. I was getting tired, frustrated, and I just couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So I knew Jay from being a coach and been on certain certifications with him. And I just got off the fence and just gave him a call. And after that, my whole business turned around, And all I can say is, if you're struggling in a particular area, just ask for help. And when you get that help, put that things into action. And since I put things into action, it's after turning my whole business around. I now have a 2,000 square foot facility. It's probably the best small private training facility in Waterford, and without the guys, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Been part of Ascension and been a member of Ascension, and you're getting advice from some of the best and successful coaches who run their own business in Ireland, and no money can put price in the knowledge that's shared in the inner circle group. I was sitting on the fence for a long time watching. I've said to Jay, would I do this or would I do that? And it actually took me, for something to actually happen in my business to say, get off the house, you have to do it or you're going to be gone. But, if I'd known better sooner, I had that, I always would have some of that element of doubt, but now it's the best move ever, It's money well spent. Absolutely, it's just, if you want to excel in the fitness business, you got to get on it, These guys know their shit.
So, what we can take from that is to go from exhausted trainer living week to week, the successful business owner with financial freedom. You've got to use the Kiyosaki formula to create a business that gives you financial freedom. Jay's going to take you through the secret in just a second. The second one is the bullshit bubble. You need to know how to finally crush overwhelm, stop winging it, and get real shit done. And the last thing is, you need to know how to stop making financial decisions for your clients and actually charge what you're worth.
So guys, as Sean was saying there, like ultimately when we're working with these guys, and for all the years that we've been in business doing what we're doing, going through the different businesses within fitness that we've done, and then helping other people do the exact same thing, what we've been able to kind of do is distill all that information down into 3 secrets or 3 bullet points. And the first one is how to use the Kiyosaki formula to create a business that gives you financial freedom. All right? So ultimately, back in the day when we were getting started, we were just like you guys, all right? And ultimately what we wanted, we had this vision of a gym that we wanted. We didn't know if we wanted Ian standing there hoovering while we were taking the picture.
And leaving his hoodie.
And leaving his hoodie there. But we knew we wanted a gym, and a gym that was systemized to train people the way we wanted to train them, but also to produce the income, the revenue that we needed to do to give us the lifestyle that we wanted to live. And as we said kind of at the beginning, when we first got going, and most of the people that we help, if you want to earn more money, okay, so if you want to make more dollars, if you want to have more money in the bank account, you've got to just work more and more time, more hours, all right? And for myself, I've got 2 young daughters, okay? So we've got Alana on the left here, we've got Kayana on the right. And ultimately, we need to and wanted to come up with a way that we can generate more revenue for ourselves, create a business that doesn't require myself and Sean to be in that business, running that business every minute of every day. And Sean is in a similar situation.
Yeah, I've got 3 creatures, so I know exactly what it's like. And what I'm just laughing at here is your daughter was like stunned to get that picture taken.
She was like, I'm not getting in this picture.
But Kayana was loving that.
She loves it out picture.
And my lads, you know, the thing is, like, I want to spend time with these guys while they're young and, like, not miss that shit growing up. So, yeah, you can't do that by spending, like, 22 hours on your phone and in your business and constantly on.
So guys, look, back in the day, you know, we thought we had a business, all right? But ultimately, all as it really turns out that we had is just a really shitty job where there was uncertainty, and it's probably the similar for you guys. Week to week, you don't know, you know, is Mary coming in to train this week or is she on holidays? You know, in many ways, really what you've got is a job which is unpredictable in the sense that you don't know, this week am I going to earn the same amount as last week? This month, am I going to earn the same amount as last month? And each month or each week, you're kind of hoping that somebody's going to come in and hand you cash. You're hoping that somebody's going to come in and pay it. And ultimately, the Kiyosaki formula is this, that all of us, when we start off, we are an employee. We go out into the fitness industry and we get a job, whether it's in a big box commercial gym or whether it is in a small kind of more bespoke personal training gym. But basically, you've got a job, you arrive there, you work a certain amount of hours and you get paid for that. And then we think we've made it when we become self-employed. All right. So when we're self-employed, we're the master of our own destiny. We're in control of our own hours. We're paying ourselves. But ultimately, it's still a job. It's just a job where you employ yourself. Now, what we help people go is we help people transition from employee into self-employed. And a lot of the guys, by the time they get to see us, they're already in the self-employed space. And really what they want to do is they want to move into a business owner. And a business owner is where you have got a system, okay, that generates an income, and you have people working for you, or as we would say, working with us to help generate that income, generate that revenue. And it doesn't need you to be there actually in the business. You're running the business, but you're not actually in the business every minute of every day. So again, for us back in the past, you know, you think to yourself, all right, I'm self-employed, I've got a job, or I'm self-employed, I've got my business going. But ultimately, if you go on holidays, what's going to happen? All right? All your clients are going to leave. So if you get sick, you know, we're in an industry where your back can go, you can get injured. Let's say you get the cold or a flu or something like that, and you're out of work for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. What's going to happen to you and your clients? They are all going to leave. You know, and if you've answered yes to those questions, like ourselves, you have a job, all right, back in the day. And the only way to go from exhausted trainer living week to week to successful business owner with financial freedom without spending all your time, 14 hours plus a day in the gym, is to understand and apply the Kiyosaki formula and to create a business which gives you financial freedom. So the only way to do that is to have your business, as we said, is to have your business work for you when you're not there, when you're not in the business. And guys, the only way to do that is to get yourself systems which are repeatable, predictable, and profitable. And that's exactly what we do within Ascension, is help the guys put those systems together. And the fastest and easiest way to get those systems is to model the business of other successful businesses, to model the systems that they use. So ultimately, what we need to be thinking about here is you need to think to yourself, and maybe this is a situation where you actually pause this webinar because we're throwing a lot of information at you, but this is the time where you want to grab your pen and paper and actually ask yourself and be honest with yourself, on this quadrant, where do you sit? Are you an employee? Okay, do you work for somebody but you'd like to work for yourself at some point in time? And the question to ask yourself is, how would you do that? And if you have no idea, chances are you need some help. If you're in a situation where you've already made that transition and you're out on your own, you're working for yourself, you've started up your own business, you've got your logo, you're working on your website, you've got the different bits and pieces that you need, but you're still working every minute of every day and you've got uncertainty and you want to move into the space where you're a business owner and you haven't got the tools to do it, chances are you probably need help. And if you're in the last category that we deal with, which is business owners, but you're at a stage where you're starting to transition, you're starting to scale, you're starting to grow, and you're sitting there pulling your hair out because you're trying to do everything. You're trying to do the marketing. You're trying to ring people up, do the sales. You're trying to train people. You get into the gym at 6:30, or even before, you're trying to clean the gym. Then you got people in, you're training them. Then you're trying to ring people. Then you're training people in the afternoon. And at the same time, you're trying to see your family. It's an absolute shit show, okay? So the only way for you to grow and develop and move out of that is to start getting systems within the business. Now, look, I know what you're thinking, because you're probably the exact same as us. It sounds like fucking hard work, and it can't be doing all that work, all right? And let me paint you a little bit of a picture here of how life would look, 1 year from now. It's this situation where we're on a hamster wheel. We're running, we're moving, but we're not actually making any progress with our business. You feel like you're just stuck. And you have this thing, there's all these people, all the gurus out there. It's just fucking hustle, just work harder, just keep going and you'll be fucking successful. And chances are that it's not really going to work out that way for you. And a lot of people, what they end up doing is they just say, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. And they end up, the business is crashing. The amount of people that we know, and I'm sure you do too, that are amazing trainers, but for whatever reason, they just reach burnout. They're just sitting there and going, do you know what, I could not be arsed. I'd rather go back to my old job than to be doing this day in, day out, because they feel underappreciated and overwhelmed, and they're not making the money or helping the people that they deserve. And for some guys, they have the resilience that they can kind of keep going. They can keep pushing through all this. Every time they get knocked down, they get back up again. But let me paint you a picture of how would your life look 10 years or 20 years from now if you just keep hustling. Chances are you're going to look like one of these dudes, all right? You got old guy number one, and he's got his cap on, he's got his sleeves rolled up, the fucking collar's up, and you got old guy number two, and he's round away there, right? And I mean, listen, this is great, but ultimately, do you want to be in the gym actually training people 20, 30 years from now? And this is an important thing to ask yourself. Chances are if you're watching this webinar, you're probably in your late 20s, 30s or 40s, all right? But listen, if retirement age is 65 or 70, what the hell do you want to be doing at that age? And it doesn't have to be like this. And what I want to do is just share with you one more of the guys who've come through Ascension on Gallagher.
I joined the group 5 months ago, and where I was that I had no systems in place. Everything was a mess. There was no managing anything. There was no managing bookings, clients, cash coming in, cash going out. I had no idea about marketing, about Facebook ads, retargeting. The website was a mess. So just now, since all my systems have been put in place, everything is so much easier, so much better. Life is simpler, and it makes the gym a better place to be in. If I had to put my finger on the best thing that's happened in the last 5 months, is I doubled my revenue, and I've also learned from mistakes that other people have made in the past, and surrounding myself with people that have the same visions and prospects as I do. So surround yourself with the best to be the best. fucking crazy. What is Ascension? Ascension is what I thought was a business and marketing mentorship, but it's been turned into so much more. You're tested mentally, physically, emotionally, how much you actually want to succeed in business. Not just go into a room, say you want to do this and give a few shitty answers and then blurt out what someone wants to hear and not actually do it. You test it to make sure that you want to be here. You're pushed to your physical limits, your mental limits, and your emotional limits. Every single person in this group wants to be here and deserves to be here. And I was just kind of sitting there, wasting time throughout the day, clicking through Facebook, not knowing what to do, procrastinating, writing a blog, sticking it on Facebook, not knowing what else to do. Who should join us? Anyone that is stuck in a rut that was where I was 5 months ago, didn't have any systems in place, didn't know what a Facebook ad was, didn't know how to retarget one, what ClickFunnels was, what their website was. Anyone that has literally, you could just be started out in the business and you could get straight into this group and it'd be the best thing you ever did.
Now guys, listen, chances are if you're sitting there, you're working in the fitness industry, no matter how long you've been working for, whether it's a few weeks, few months, or a few years, you can relate to a lot of what Owen was said there. That idea of being isolated, feeling a bit lost, feeling a bit dazed and confused, procrastinating, floating around on Facebook, not really knowing where the next paycheck is going to come from. And if you think about it, when we first met Owen, he was gone from having maxed out credit cards and he was actually paying for Ascension. I think his first 1 or 2 payments he paid on the credit card. To having a business which he has systemized and is making 80+K a year and grown.
Do you know what? He actually paid his rent with the credit cards too. And he did that 80K in 8 months. He's doing over 120K a year now. So he's doing fantastically well.
And if we just kind of think about and summarize what Owen kind of went through there and where he was to where he went to, you know, before he met us guys, before he was working with us guys, he had zero marketing ability. He hadn't got a clue what he was doing. He had no control over his leads, so he had no control over people contacting him to want to come train with him. He couldn't close any sales, so even when people did come in, most of them ended up saying, listen, let me think about it. He was not making enough money, all right, to even keep his head above water, all right? He was paying his rent, as we said, on maxed out credit cards. And ultimately, and these are his own words, it was a complete mess. It was a bit of a shambles how he was running his so-called business, all right? Now, guys, after the year working with himself and Sean Ascension, he had systems for marketing, sales, and fulfillment. He was in total control of his lead situation. He was closing over 90% of the people that come in. So that's 10 people come in and chat to him, 9 of them stayed as paying gym members. He kind of totally redone the gym and went on a skiing holiday, bought himself a new car, and is making more money than he's ever had before. And again, look at, you know, they're all kind of nice things. He has a new gym, he has a new car, he's going on holidays. But ultimately, if you were to sit down and talk to Owen as we do on a regular basis, the dude is happier and less stressed, which is the most important thing. So guys, you're probably thinking, you know, to yourself that sales is a bad thing and you hate sales. And Owen was the exact same before he got going with us. And just kind of think to yourself, pause for a second here, and maybe you pause this webinar again, you get your pen and paper and you write down to you in your head, what does sales mean? When I say the word sales, what's your first thought that comes back? And just take a little note of that, all right? And the only way, what you've got to realize is the only way for you to help people with your fitness business is to sell them your service, to help them in terms of training, in terms of nutrition, in terms of mindset, in terms of coaching, all the things that we do. And if you think about it, that you know that a lot of the people that come in and see us, they need what we have. They're in an absolute shambles when they get to us. So we've got a moral obligation to turn around and help these people. So you're probably thinking that I'm a great trainer, you know, word of mouth is all that people need in order to come to my gym. You know, every time I train someone, they bring a mate along, all that type of thing. And the thing is that, you know, 90% of trainers fail in year one, all right? And those statistics keep growing as the years go by. So you think about someone who's getting into the fitness industry, you know, if 10, 15, 20 people get into the fitness industry, after 5 years, you're probably left with 2 or 3 of those people. And it's because they can't get enough leads. They can't get enough people coming into the business or putting their hand up and saying, listen, I want you to train me. And then if they can, chances are that they can't sell those people. So you're probably thinking that it'll come right if I give it enough time. All right. So listen, everything is going to be grand, because we always look at ourselves and say, I'm in a bit of a city situation now, but if I just keep hustling, if I just keep working harder, if I keep running on that treadmill, everything is going to be all right in a few weeks or a few months or a few years. And does that sound familiar? Is that a thought that runs in your head? Now, from what myself and Sean have seen over the years working with people, that, you know, all the hoping in the world won't make a shitty situation better for you. You know, you can want things to get better, but it's not going to work. All the hoping in the world won't create systems that give you freedom that you want in your business. So now that I've shown you the Kiyosaki formula and how to create, or at least how to start thinking about creating a business that gives you financial freedom, I'm sure you're going to think to yourself, listen, shit, that's pretty cool, because now you've got an idea in your head, or maybe even if you wrote down the paper, where are you now? And you have an understanding of what you need or what you don't have to move from employed to self-employed into business. So guys, I'm going to take a little step back. If you want to pause this, if you want to ask any questions, you know, take a little note or put them into the comment section here. I'm going to hand it over to Sean.
Lovely. Thank you, Jay. So listen, the second secret we're going to talk about here is something that we all struggle with. This is something myself and Jason struggle with. Even when we had the information that, you know, we knew could help us, this is still going to be something that you struggle with. And we always talk about it like this. We talk about, there's two things that we can help people with. One is knowledge, either you don't know how to do a certain thing, or the second is balls. And this can be metaphorical balls for any women watching. And it's really like the actual doing. You know, when you've got the implementation, are you willing to now implement that thing? Because what you're going to encounter then is your own bullshit bubble. You have to get a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to have to implement this stuff and put yourself out there a bit. And that means that then internally you're going to have to deal with some shit, your own bullshit bubble. So I'm going to show you how to crush overwhelm, how to stop winging shit, and how to win over the internal dialogue that tells you not to implement that stuff so that you get real shit done. So let us talk about where this actually come from, because if you remember, just going back to the start of the webinar, we said we reached out to all of these like guys who were exactly where we wanted to be in fitness and say, hey, show us how you did that. You know, we want to learn from you. One of those guys was Alwyn and his wife, Alwyn Cosgrove. So these guys own Results Fitness in America. And I mean, they write for Men's Health, Jay. They
got a whole series of books. And was kind of voted the most profitable gym in the whole of America per square foot. So we were looking down, these are the guys that we want to model and emulate.
Absolutely. We thought, shit, if only we could get the information they have, then we'll know everything we need to know to have a really cool gym like they have. And like, whoa, we'll have cracked it. We'll have everything we need. And basically, we invested the time and the money and everything else that was required to go over and learn their system in its entirety. And what we come back with was basically the keys to a Ferrari. It was, and this is the analogy. If you think about it, like if someone gives you the keys of a Ferrari and shows you how to drive it, well then at some point in time, now it's over to you. And we had this key to a Ferrari, which is all the information, all the system of how to run one of the most profitable gyms. All we had to do was implement it, but the thing was we weren't driving it. We simply were not driving that Ferrari. Another example, it's kind of like we had the handbrake on. Let's say that. We were driving the Ferrari, but we had the handbrake on is probably the best way of putting it. Now, another example is when we were over at Russell Brunson's mentorship, one of the guys we met there was this dude who's just to the right of me in the picture, Alex Hormozi, who is now owner of Gym Launch and Gym Lords. So Alex Hormozi has made an incredible business. I mean, he is into like tens of millions. Here he is receiving an award from Russell Brunson. And what this award is he's in it's the 8-figure club, not even the 7-figure club. The guy's making tens of millions in his business every year. Not like a total of 10 million. He does 10 million a year. And he was at the same mastermind as us. So we're watching him like do all these things, and we're going like, shit, you know, Owen Cosgrove gave us the system. He gave us the keys to the Ferrari, but we were driving it around with a handbrake on. We went to Russell Brunson's. We were part of the same information and got the same teaching from Russell Brunson on how to launch, you know, a 10-figure business, but yet we still haven't really done it. It's like, and I remember having a conversation with Alex, and I said, but Alex, you don't understand. Like, this is Ireland. It's just a wee bit different here. And he said to me, sorry, I couldn't hear you over the deafening sound of your own limiting self-belief. At that point in time, it was like a slap up the face with a wild Atlantic salmon. It was like, oh, shit. Because at that point in time, we realized that we had created this massive bullshit bubble, you know, and we were living inside of that. And this is what a bullshit bubble is. A bullshit bubble is when you tell yourself a justification story so that you get to keep your level of comfort. Because if you want to grow a business, if you're going to ask for help, that is uncomfortable. But listen, comfort and results do not live in the same place. If you want to change something, if you want to get a different result, you're going to have to change some shit. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? You're not going to get different results, but keep your bullshit bubble and keep your level of comfort. And this is the story we were telling ourselves. We were saying, that's okay for Alex in America, but maybe I'm not good enough to get those results. What if we fuck it up and fail? What if, you know, people laugh at us when we try? What if, and you can fill in the blank, because you can just come up with hundreds of these what ifs. And what that is sort of saying is you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your ability, even though these other people are getting incredible results. Kind of like when you're showing before and after pictures for, you know, your 6-week transformation, your 8-week, your 12-week, somebody comments below, does it work for everybody? It's like, it works if you work it, do you know? But really what we're doing is like, we're focusing on all the ways that we could possibly fuck it up. So we're focusing on failure all of the time because we don't trust ourselves. And if we get to tell ourselves the bullshit story and the justification stories as why it's different for everyone else and so on, then we get to keep our level of comfort and we protect our fragile little ego from getting damaged. But the thing is, I'm going to ask you, like, what would happen if you stopped focusing on failure and you started focusing on success? What would happen if you let go of your bullshit story, just for a minute, let go of it, and you give yourself permission to step into that space, the place where you know you have the potential to be much more, where you could have more impact, where you could help more people? And what if you began to realize that you do not have to be perfect because perfection is the enemy of progress? Because, and another question, and this is one of the ones that Aaron actually said when we were talking to him, I said, like, what would your advice be to the other trainers who were thinking of getting involved in this thing? And he was like, I would just ask them, how bad does it have to get before you take action? Does it have to get like Gan, where you're down to your last few hundred quid? And like, if this doesn't work, I mean, you're out forever. Does it have to get that bad before you actually take any action? And the other thing he said was like, by not going all in and investing in yourself, by not trusting yourself fully and in your ability, by not dropping your bullshit story and hanging on to that level of comfort, you're basically fighting to stay the same. So I want to show you, this is a dude who was doing exactly that, struggling with the internal demons and dialogues, and maybe a lot of it from his past here. This is Declan Trainer, and I want to give him the best. Look, he says the best, so I want to give him the last word.
For me, it was having the confidence to believe that I could go from seeing private clients, to moving to semi-private and building the confidence in order to do that. You know, going from taking one person one-on-one, I got comfortable with that, and I thought that I could actually have more benefit to people if I could see more people more often. And that's where I kind of figured that I really needed your help to build that confidence, to get it to the next level, to get my business to the level where I could see between 2 and 4 people at the one time. So I'd be benefiting them more, but also benefiting my business more in terms of my revenue and making the living that I want for me and my girlfriend and all that going forward. I mean, since I started working with you guys, revenues nearly tripled. So like, it's been huge. Just like going through my figures the other day, I felt like crying. Like, I was just so happy. Like, seriously, I just was looking at it, looking at the numbers properly, I suppose I got so busy doing stuff since our first mastermind that I didn't really think about the figures. I was just really getting into the process of wanting to add clients and get people in, and then I just actually took stock of where I'm at. And I was just like overwhelmed by it, you know, and really delighted and happy. I wouldn't have got there without your help, like, to be honest. And the aha was probably that it's not all, weirdly now just talk about revenue there, but it wasn't actually, for me, the most important thing that I've taken from this group is dealing with stuff from the past. And I had talked to you and Jay initially about dealing with issues of bullying in the past and things like that, and actually opening up to a group about that. The other people in the mastermind here, that was huge because I really talked to that many people about it before, apart from family, you know. And I'd gone to a psychologist and stuff like that to work on mindset, and these were the only people I'd shared it with outside of immediate family. And to share that with a wider group of people was huge, you know, and to realise, I think, that other people go through similar stuff and that you can share these things and not be judged or not. I not have it held against you or seen as a weakness. Like, that was huge for me. I think trying to put the past behind me and then move on to, like, inspiring other people who've maybe gone through stuff like that as well, you know. I think the point is where you kind of feel like you can do more, but you just don't know exactly how to do more, or you have a lot of self-doubt about it and you don't feel like you can do it on your own. And I think that's the time to just do it, you know. And I was scared initially by the investment of getting Jay and yourself, Sean, as mentors and joining this group. And then I talked to somebody within the group, and I talked to a businessman over in Brussels, and the main thing was, they were like, "What do you think it's going to pay itself back?" And I was like, "Yes, 100%. They were like, "Well, then there's not a question, really. Don't apply for this if you plan on being cautious for the rest of your life, because it's not going to work for you, and I don't think you're going to get to where you want to go." Because something I've learned, I think, is that in order to grow personally, you have to seek out the uncomfortable sometimes and the unknown, and that this group was that for me, and it's 100% paid itself back.
So pretty powerful stuff there from Declan. Let's just recap then what we have heard Declan say there. So really, what I heard him say that stuck out was, like, when I looked at my numbers, I felt like crying, and then that wouldn't have happened without you. Because before, where Declan was in his business, he was in a place where he wasn't making any money. He was crippled with limiting self-beliefs. He was like me talking to Alex Hermosi on the phone, and he's sort of saying, "I can't hear you over the sound of your limiting self-belief," right? And if you think you can and you think you can't, you're probably right. And that's where he was. He was thinking he couldn't, so he was stuck in that place. He was scared to invest in himself. He was held back by the opinions of other people. And that's one of the most frustrating things you can see. Someone who has a lot of potential, but really what they're held back most is, what will people think? He was then scared to deliver his message and stuck in that sort of comfort zone. Afterwards, after investing in himself and going all in, he triples his revenue, gains the certainty in his ability that he needed that would allow him to continue on. So he was more willing to invest both in himself and in his business. That gave him the 100% confidence and the certainty in his authentic message, which was a really good authentic message that he had. And then he was able to share that with people that he could actually make an impact with. Put him in control in his business. And one of the main things we worked on was his messaging as well. Like, you know, Declan, if you don't know, this guy, he works in Brussels. So he flew in from Brussels one day to spend some time with us, working on the difference in his business between every and any other competitive option out there, including doing nothing at all, which is what clients are thinking when you're sort of saying or delivering your pitch or your price. And his thing was, like, he's not a personal trainer, he's a performance trainer. And the way he works is he allows you to unlock your potential through mind, body, and soul. And he just happens to be called Declan Trainer. So that messaging was very, very nice and allowed him to go all in on that message and share that with people that he knew he had the potential to help. So that was Declan. Now, I know you're probably thinking, what will people think if I go all in? Well, the thing is, there's only one way to avoid criticism, and that is do nothing, be nothing, say nothing. And if you do that, well, you know, your gym will be nothing too. So really, the only other thing you could be thinking is, what if I invest and I fail? But you see, the certainty is if you don't invest, your business definitely will fail. That is certain. So now we've showed you how to burst your bullshit bubble, crush overwhelm, and start getting real shit done. I suppose you're ready for the final secret, which I'm going to hand over to you, my man Jay.
So guys, listen, I suppose at this stage, we've already shown you how that for most people, they've only got a job, okay? For other people, the issue that they have is kind of themselves. It's their own internal limited beliefs, very similar to what Declan had, very similar to what myself and Sean had when we were in America, when we were listening to Alex Hormozi talk. But the third secret that we've learned by helping people all over the years is how to stop making financial decisions for your clients and really charge what you're worth as an individual or as a gym. So back in the day, as we said, we met when we went to the US, all different types of business owners, but 2 or 3 business owners that really stood out for us were the guys that were the most similar to us, meaning that they were working in the fitness space. So as Sean told you earlier, Alex went from this guy who had a gym to a guy which opened up gyms and sold them, to a guy which showed people how to open up, sell gyms and open up gyms and then sell them on, right? And he went from being a guy who was a one-man band all the way up to having a 7-8 figure business, all right? So this kind of got us our eyes open to new possibilities. Another person that we met over there was Lady Boss, okay, so Kaylin Chulin. And between her and her husband, the both of these guys set up multiple fitness businesses and they were doing crazy numbers online, all right? Something like, you know, over $100,000 a month just selling online programs. Now to us,
it went to $300,000 a month.
To us, we were just going like, what the fuck? How are these people doing it? And back then, when we kind of met them, the initial thought that we had was, listen, that's okay for Alex. That's okay for Kaylin because those guys, you know, live in America, but it won't work for us here in Ireland. It's different for me. It's different in my town. It's different in the area that I live. And for you guys, you're probably thinking a similar situation because a lot of the trainers that we meet, these are the stories, the exact same stories that we were telling ourselves. Chances are you're probably telling yourself this. And one of the big stories that comes up time and time again is, I can't charge X for personal training. I can't charge more than 25 euros for personal training because everybody else is charging that, all right? So all the other trainers in my gym are charging 25, 30, 40, 50 euros, so I can't charge any more for what I do. And, you know, we were in the same situation where we were undercharging for our professionalism and for the service that we provided the clients that were coming in contact with us. And ultimately, we undervalued ourselves because we thought we were different. We were different in Ireland. We were different in Dublin than what those guys were in America. And the reality is that we weren't. So we had to drop that, our own little bullshit story that, you know, it was different for us. And ultimately, in order to do that, what we had to do was stop making decisions for our clients, all right? We had to stop making decisions that our service, our product was too expensive for the people that we wanted to buy it. And really what we had to do is we had to stop comparing ourselves to the market. What we needed to do was be more confident, okay, to charge exactly what we were worth, okay, as individual coaches and as gym owners. So over the next few weeks and months, coming back from the US, learning from these guys, we turned around and tripled the prices that we were charging, and we started to attract the much more valued clients. So we started to charge these people what we valued, and we ended up getting more valuable clients in return. So as you're sitting here thinking this, you know, we always try and explain to people that there's only really 2 or 3 ways that we can produce a better business. You either have to get clients who are willing to pay more money, or we have to train more clients. Now, I know you're probably thinking, that's okay for them, but it won't work in my area. So you're probably thinking, the lads are in Dublin or they're in Blackrock, that's an affluent area. So it's easy for them to do it. Just remember that that's the exact same story that we were telling ourselves. It's all right for those guys in America, but we're here in Ireland. So what I want to do, Joe, I want to share a little story of Sarah. Sarah came to us a few years back to work with us in Ascension. And when she got going with us, she was working in Galway. She had a Galway kettlebell club. I'm going to let her jump in now, and you can hear what she has to say.
The main reason I'm able to do all of this now is because Jay and Sean saw through me. I had to unfuck my head. So I had to get clarity, and I had to realize that the 14 years experience that I have meant something. So some of the results obviously have come in the form of more financial freedom. So being able to charge a lot more because the guys had proven to me that I could charge a lot more. So the results have come with money. The results have come with clients because now I'm working with them for a year. So I can see the results that they're getting are actually life-changing. Whereas before I just thought that's just average, that's just what you get. If you think you're above and beyond learning any more about anything to do with business or even physicality or even about yourself or even about your clients, then don't bother coming on board, because you will be fucked out and it will be revealed very, very, very quickly. So you've got to be real. You've got to be a team player. You've got to trust in the process, and you've got to leave your ego at the door and be ready for mistakes and live for the fucking mistakes. And Sean and Jay are, to me, top dogs with this. They continue to astound me in their knowledge. You could type in, in our group, something, the latest thing, and they're like, yeah, that's right, this is what it is. So if you're not ready to move with the business, if you think that you just have it down and that this is how this month's going to go and next month's going to go, scrap that, because the people that you want in this group are people that are ready to rapidly change and just go, do you know what? Yeah, that has to be scrapped. And, I completely changed over my whole business model. And I am now at the next level of getting rid of what was Galway Kettlebells to Project 365. And I am finding it really, really hard. But I know after this weekend, I will leave and I will go on Monday ready, a bit less fearful and ready to implement it. What these guys are doing is actually definitely not being done anywhere else in Ireland, if not Europe. I don't know anywhere else in Europe either it's been done. It's totally and utterly unique. Contact some other people from the group and we can tell you all about it, and we can tell you what experiences that we have. And do not hesitate unless you are looking to stay the same. I'm all in until, I'm a millionaire.
So guys, listen, I suppose for us as coaches, some of the most impressive things that, from me, that we've helped Sarah go through there is, we're kind of saying about these transitions, about dropping those limiting beliefs, about dropping those stories about yourself, about your location. And Sarah's done this so many times over the course of 18 months or 2 years working with us guys. So as she said herself, she started off Galway Kettlebell Club. I think she was charging €5 for kettlebell classes. And over the course of those 2 years, she's dropped all of that, moved to Monaco, and now all of her business is 100% online. And she's charging 20, 30 or 40 times the amount what she was doing to just speak to somebody on the telephone or on a live stream like what we're doing here, which is absolutely crazy. But just to kind of recap a little bit, Sarah says herself, it's all about kind of unfucking her head and getting the certainty to charge what she was worth and finally gain for her financial freedom. And before, what she had was kettlebell classes where she was charging €5 a class, all right? And some of you guys might be in a similar situation. She hadn't been on a holiday for 4 years. And unlike some of the people, Sarah had been in the fitness industry probably 10 or 15 years at this stage. So it's not like she was only in the fitness industry a wet day. She was really, I suppose, fucking crippled because of fear of failure. And she was afraid of what everybody else might think about it. And the exact same as us, right? We don't want to put ourselves out there because somebody might throw rocks at us. Somebody might tell us that we're not good enough. Somebody might try and tear us down in some way, shape or form. And ultimately then, if we think about what happened to Sarah over this transition, working with us guys, she was able to drop that story. She was able to start trusting the process, trusting the systems, and gain absolute clarity, okay, and 100% certainty on exactly what she wanted to do and where she wanted to go. And ultimately, in order to do that, she had rapid mindset shift from €5 kettlebells to the type of person who could charge 100 or 150 euros to speak to somebody on the phone, all right? She obviously had less fear. She was less fearful about our future, about our current reality. And, for her, it was life-changing results. She has literally, and I know this word is fucking put out there on the internet, oh, life-changing transformation. It literally is life-changing. She's over there fucking on the beach every day, living it up, and she's doing hard work. It's not all fucking roses, but it has totally changed the way she lives her life. And for her, it's given her financial freedom, that she can do the things she wants when she wants. And that's, I suppose, her definition of financial freedom, and you probably have your own. So, guys, I hope you see after that, you know, ultimately when we're talking about these secrets, it's about systems. It's about stepping away from a job. It's about dropping your internal stories. It's about dropping the stories about your environment. It's about your surroundings. And hopefully with this secret tree, you can stop making financial decisions for your clients and ultimately charge what you're worth as a trainer and as a coach. So guys, when you stop making financial decisions for your clients and you begin to charge what you're worth, only then that you can charge, only then when you're charging what you're worth, you can create financial freedom. So it's this kind of gap, or it's this, I suppose, transition that we have to make is, you know, people think everything is going to be okay later on. Ultimately, we've got to draw a line in the sand. We've got to start attracting the right type of people, start believing in ourselves, and only then will you create the type of lifestyle that you want to live. So I suppose at this stage, now what we want to think to you, can you see how this would work for you? So again, it might require you to just take a little pause here, maybe pause this webinar, maybe start looking back at your notes, or if you have a question, put them into the box and start to think, all right, if you had systems, if you had support network, if you had other like-minded individuals, could you see how this would accelerate you as a coach, you as a business owner? So ultimately, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hand this back over to Sean, and Sean's going to go through the last few little bits of this. But again, if you need to pause this and take a few notes, do so now. Sean,
cool,
my man.
So now that we've delivered all of the 3 secrets, and look, this, when we were talking about the 3 secrets, these are the 3 commonalities we saw from all of the people we've worked with over the last 4 years, at least the last 4 years. And we nailed it down to like these 3 big rocks. If you want to go from exhausted trainer, and usually people are living week to week, struggling like we did in the past, thinking that the only way to gain more money or to earn more money was to work more hours. And at a certain point in time, there aren't any more hours to work, or you simply can't recover from working any more hours and you hit a cap. And if that is where you are, you'll see that the only way to go from that to a successful business owner with financial freedom is when you actually see the Kiyosaki formula, you can figure out where you are in that, what step you're at. Then you can begin to make a vision for how you can move from the first element in that 4 quadrants to the second or third or wherever you want to be. Because only when you start using that Kiyosaki formula are you actually going to create a business that will allow you to have the financial freedom. Now, in doing that, in stepping out of your comfort zone and creating those systems and moving your business forward, you're going to have to get over some internal shit. And that's when you're going to have to realize that you've got a bullshit bubble. And that unless you're willing to drop that story, you will never be able to crush the overwhelm you need, stop winging shit, and get the real shit done. So if you take those first 2 rocks or first 2 secrets, and you add that to the third one that Jay's just told you that made all the difference to Sarah's life. She's went from £5 kettlebell classes to now where she's selling $5,000 packages is her lowest offer. So that is a massive, massive shift. And the way she done that is to stop making financial decisions for what's expensive for her clients and actually begin believing in herself and seeing what her real professionalism is worth and charging what she's worth. So if you see that if you take all of those 3 things together, that's when this thing is actually going to work for you. That's when you're going to start getting the kind of results that you've seen in the webinar and the case studies that we put forward. But I want to ask you a question, because you could feel like you've just been hosed with a load of stuff. I mean, usually secret number 1 is even the first place where somebody gets slapped up the face when they're like, fuck, I thought I had a business. Turns out I had a job. That can be a lot to get over. When you start talking about systems, it begins to get overwhelming. Like, some of you could be really excited about what we've been talking about, and other you dudes could be like just completely overwhelmed because we covered a shit ton of stuff. So really, here's what we've got. What we've got for you, because it's impossible in even like a 60-minute presentation to cover everything. But look, we tried to get in and cover as much as we could. But what we've done is we've created a special package for those who are ready to move forward and want to start creating financial freedom in their own businesses. So I'm going to ask you, is it okay if we just take 10 minutes to share that with you now? Because that's what I want to do next. Here's what you're going to get. If you want to move forward, and remember I said there's not going to be any big pitch. I'm true to my word. There's not going to be a pitch, but there is going to be the possibility to have a conversation about how we could create the kind of business that you want so that you gain the financial freedom in it. So what that's going to look like is we're going to get on the phone, you and I and Jay, and we're going to find out exactly where you are in that cash flow quadrant. What position are you at right now, and figure out where it is you want to go. Then we're going to start digging deeper into your business to discover the true potential of your business. Like, what's the money that you're leaving on the table? Then we're going to find out a step-by-step action plan, not fluff, not tactics, a strategy. We're going to give you the strategic direction, everything you need, down to the actionable steps, including the thing you need to do the moment you get off the call so that you start closing gaps and moving towards having the business that you need to give you the financial freedom. And this is going to be completely specific, because everybody's business is going to be at a different point. It's going to be completely specific to your business. Now, for the people who are willing to take that next step and jump on a call, I've got a bonus for you, because we are going to not only give you the strategic direction, but we're also going to give you the live 4-video training series, which covers funnel hacking live, because we talked about this. We learned all of this stuff from Russell Brunson. We've basically taken everything we've learned there, distilled it down into the funnels that every gym needs. We've also shown you how to drive the traffic to it, and the sales system that we use inside Ascension has got the results of all of the people in the case studies we've just shared with you. We're going to give you that bonus. So also, we're going to give you the Ascension member site. This is like lifetime access to all of the year-long mastermind training that we deliver to everybody you saw the case studies in. And like, really, this is how Struggling Fit Pros went from 14-hour days and no time off to successful business owners with more money, time, and freedom than they ever thought possible. We're going to give you that. So for the people who are ready to move forward and take us up on our offer of a coaching call, we're also going to give you the 4-video training session, and we're going to give you lifetime access to the membership site. Let's just dig into it. The coaching call itself will have a value of €197. Think about this. You're going to have me and Jay. Like, if this was an in-person thing, for 1 hour, we would charge €500. You're going to have us on a coaching call with €197. The Ascension Live 4-video training series is worth €397. We have sold that live from stage for $397. Then lifetime access, I mean, I would say it's worth a heck of a lot more than that, but if we had to put a figure on it, you're talking $997. The total value of everything you're going to get for taking us up on this offer is €1,591. This is exactly what Dan McCaffrey, and in his own words, I've gone from struggling PT with 2 other jobs to run the most expensive boot camp in Belfast with over 200 members. It's exactly what he used to get those results. It's exactly what Aaron McClellan used, and he went from a PT in a local gym to opening his first facility in an area where no one knew him, and within 6 months, he needed a bigger premises. Then he filled that too. So he's gone from 30 to 160 members and increased his prices numerous times. So everything that he's used to get those kind of results. Also, Catherine Shields, who was working in a high-paid IT job, running classes for somebody else, to launch in her own business and grown to require 2 full-time coaches to deal with demand. She's actually working less and making more than she used to in her high-paying IT job. So you're going to get all of that. And this is who it works for. So look, you could be a trainer in a commercial gym like Aaron. You could be an online coach, somebody like Sarah. You could be a boot camp owner like Dan McCaffrey, or a gym owner like us, or a strength and conditioning coach like Mark McComiskey. You could be a CrossFit box, even a mobile trainer. Hit shit, fuck it. Listen, if you're coachable, we can help you. Serious. So let's just address the elephant that's in the room. I know what you're thinking here, and we can't sort of work around this shit forever. Listen, we've helped people from everywhere, Brussels, UK, people starting out to, people who are already running successful businesses and want to scale it. Because you're thinking, like, does this work for me? Look, the thing is, there's only two ways that you could be struggling, i.e., you don't have some knowledge, which we can give you, right? So you don't know some shit. Or the second could be you don't have the balls. Either you don't believe, well, there's no way you couldn't believe in us after the results we've shown you, right? Because, it works if you work it. But then you could be struggling with, like, am I going to do it? Listen, if you are coachable, we can work with you. So if we give you the knowledge, then it's the balls to implement on your shit. And what we're going to show you is how to discover the true potential of your business. Like, what is the actual capacity, the uncapped potential that you have in your business that you're not able, either because of the knowledge or the balls that you're lacking, that you're leaving money on the table. Then we're going to give you a step-by-step action plan you need to create the financial freedom that you need, specific to your business and your individual circumstance. And whether this is the options you've got, whether you struggle with this shit yourself, and I don't know how long that's going to take, because, like, if we had to think back, we invested, like we said, hundreds of thousands in mentors and years of travel to gain the knowledge and experience that we can give you over a 30-minute call, so you don't have to. So your option is struggle with this yourself and try and either replicate the years of investment, time, and energy we put into creating this system, or you could get the strategic direction from a coach with a proven track record. Like, that's really the option you're facing here. Now, that's what's going to happen on the call. We will give you a decade worth of experience distilling the information down that's taken hundreds of thousands of euros of investment and years of fine-tuning for the industry. We can give you on that call, worth at least 197. On top of that, we're going to give you the Ascension live 4-video training series, worth 397. Those two things alone are worth 594. Let me just talk you through what's in the live video 4-video training series here. Because in this, we broke business down into the 3 elements we talked about. Now, specifically the marketing and sales element. Fulfillment is another matter where you're talking about, like, creating results and an experience for your clients. And that's usually not the bit that people struggle with. They struggle with the landing pages, the sales funnels. We will give you the sales funnel that we use to generate 74,598 euros and the full training you need to implement it and start getting results straight away. And we will also give you the only 3 funnels that any gym will ever need. Now, no funnel's any use if you don't have the traffic to drive towards it. So in the 4-video training series, we've broken the training down into these elements. One of those elements covers the exact strategies you need to drive the traffic to your funnel so you can get more leads than you can handle. Now, if you've got your funnel, you've got your leads coming in, the last piece of that puzzle is having the complete Ascension sales system training, including the exact scripts we use and how to use them and how to deliver them so that you get results like the people you heard in the case studies there. That's in the 4-video training series, Ascension Live. When you think about it, like, what sort of pain did we have to go through in terms of training and investment to learn funnels and traffic and sales so that we could create the systems inside of the video training for here so you don't have to. So we're going to give you all that. I mean, like, for that, the pain and cost of that you're saving is huge. Like, you know, if you had to think about what you're going to have to go through, you won't have to bash your head against the wall trying to build funnels, learn how to, fine tune it for the fitness industry, or work endlessly learning Facebook adverts, because it's all there for you. Now, that is the coaching call worth 197, the Ascension live training, the 4-video training series. The last bit of this is the lifetime access to the members site. Now, look, we put a value in 997. Like I said before, I think it's worth a heck of a lot more than that because you get lifetime access to this thing. That's a total of 1,591. The bonus of the Ascension member site goes through the business model and capacity training, which was the key element in discovering why trainers were working 14-hour days and couldn't get time off, yet they weren't making the money. Simply down to the not having a business model that was able to produce the income they needed to gain financial freedom. We go through social media and marketing mastery. We go through storytelling, attractive character masterclass, all of the stuff we learned from Russell Brunson's crew. It's distilled right down there for you. The complete 3D selling system, There is training on every single element with plug and play stuff for you. And you're going to have lifetime access to this so that you will be able to create the Ascension roadmap, including the Core 4 training. You've got everything you need to accelerate business growth in the Ascension member site. Here's a snapshot of what's in there. So like, I just want to ask you, what would it cost in terms of time and money and effort for you to go through and try and recreate from all of the sources and all the years of gathering the top level stuff we could learn, like, and then put it all into one place? I mean, again, this is like the difference between you bashing your head against the wall, trying to cover all this stuff up, because this is step-by-step, paint by numbers in here. You can finish each section, apply what you've learned, and get results straight away. So last time, I just want to recap everything you're getting here. The people that want to take a next step, you're going to get the coaching call with 197, where me and Jay show you the money you're leaving on the table and the uncapped potential of your business. The Ascension Live 4 video training series, where 397 is going to show you funnels, traffic, and sales. Then the lifetime access to the membership site, which goes into in-depth in all the strategies you need for social media market mastery, the attractive character building, I mean, everything at your fingertips, so that you can apply what you've learned straight away and start getting results today. Total value of 1,593. Listen, if all this did was give you systems to gain control of your business so that you had more free time, would that be worth it? Or if all it did was give you the belief you need to start taking action, would it be worth it? Or if all it did was, like Sarah, give you the certainty to be able to charge exactly what you're worth, then that would be worth it. Now, if we go back to our story in the day, we had really two choices. The first one was like hustle harder and stay stuck, like that trainer that was swamped at his desk, or the dude drowning and sticking his hand up, and all you're doing is describing the water to him, nobody's throwing your rubber ring. Or the second option was realize that we had to get a little uncomfortable if we wanted different results. And that does mean asking for help at some stage. So if you had these systems working in your business, so you had the financial freedom it gives, like Gan, Owen, Catherine, Sarah, how much would that be worth to you? Like, you can see why that stuff would be worth a good deal at 1,591. And look, if we were selling this from stage or to dudes like general public that we didn't know, it would be 1,591. But on this webinar, we're going to give everyone who's willing to take the next step, all of you seeing the coaching call, the live video training series, and the lifetime access for just 97 euros. Now, we've spent like hundreds of thousands to gain this education, years of travel, trial and error, and now we're offering that advice to you at a fraction of what we've incurred, because we want to help as many people as we can. And we also know a certain number of you guys who will want to go a wee bit further, and they will want us to work with them on their plan together. They'll probably want to even come a little closer to us and work at a better proximity or in closer proximity in the mastermind. And if that happens, look, that's cool. But really, we're at the stage now where the only way for us to grow is to share what we know. So we're willing to invest the time that it's going to take to help people. And that's really what we're here to do. So look, we just want to get people on the calls and give you the value that we can give. If people want to take it further and join the mastermind, well, that's cool. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and it's both okay. So really, when it comes down to it, you've got two choices. Option one, do nothing. Do not take this leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free. Or second option is to pony up this small investment today and compared to all the value you get in return, and just give it a shot. Now, here's our guarantee to you. If you take action today and you don't get value for any reason, but you've got to look us dead in our eye and say, hey, that was shit, with a straight face. If you can do that, you let me know and we will refund every single cent of the money. No question asked. But the real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which, if it does even half of what I've claimed today on this training, it'll pay for itself as soon as you finish the call. Sound fair enough? So here's what you're getting again, the coaching call, where we're going to give the strategic direction, show the uncapped potential of your business, and make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. Worth at least 197. You're going to get the Ascension Live 4-video training series, everything you need to know about traffic, funnels, and sales, so you can start getting results straight away. And lifetime access to the membership site, which has the plug and play of the Facebook mastery, social media mastery, everything you need, again, to finish it and start applying and get results right away. Worth 1,591 euros. Get started now on everything for just 97. All you have to do is click the link and schedule a call. Now, the only thing I can think of, Jay, is like that their question would be like, you know, it's that one, like, is water wet? Will it work for me?
Listen, if you can follow simple instructions and you're coachable, it's going to work for you, because listen, it worked for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What's the other one we normally get?
Well, you know, a lot of people are going to think, for whatever reason, I'm just not ready quite now. I'm going to wait a little bit of time. And the way we always kind of think about that is, it's like, that's like somebody ringing you up and saying, hey, listen, I need help getting fit. I need help losing weight. But, they put in a button there, but I'm just going to lose a little bit of weight. I get a bit fitter first before I come down to you in the gym. And ultimately, it's fear-based. They're trying to protect themselves. They're afraid that they're going to be exposed in some way, shape, or form. They're afraid that they're going to fail. And nobody who's in that situation is ever going to make progress. Nobody's ever lost weight and then came to you at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I can think of one that, like, actually, Declan, who was on the case study, his big thing was, you know, because he was kind of cautious, and I remember him saying, well, I've seen all those other people get results, you know, they've got great results, but, you know, it's different for me, you know, and they think that they've got a special case. I mean, it isn't really. It's very simple, that business and fitness are exactly the same, and like weight loss is the same. Hey, did you turn up to the gym 3 times this week? If you did, great. And did you eat what I told you to eat? I mean, if you do that, if you look after the process, the outcome takes care of itself. 100%. So no one's different really when you drop your bullshit story and you realize that, fuck, I'm exactly the same. I'm struggling. I need the help of a coach with a proven track record of results. And if I follow what they do, follow the processes that work for everybody else, the outcome will look after itself.
Yeah, big fun. So guys, I suppose at this stage, if you have got any questions, you can hit them up in the comment section down below. We're going to hang around for another minute or two, answer any of those questions. And this is going to close down probably about 5-6 minutes, Sean, isn't it?
Yep, 100%. Yep.
So guys, as always, we will see you on the other side.